I just couldn't get to the car fast enough. Can somebody tell me why I just paid $20 for a foot long? Have y'all been to Subway? Are we boycotting Subway? Like, why is it so expensive? Only a sandwich. Only got a sandwich. RIP to the $5 foot long, $20.
I really wish more people talked about the fact that so many more people than you think are in credit card debt. You're starting to look at people around you and wondering how the hell they're purchasing luxury cars, going on these lavish vacations, buying luxury items like sunglasses, designer purses, things like that. It's credit cards. They're in credit card debt.
Let's normalize it being okay to live at home with your parents. Like, at this point in like 2024, they're making it almost nearly impossible to live comfortably if you want to live nice in like certain areas and certain parts of like Florida. It's so expensive. Like, it's almost crazy. Literally, like a 2-bedroom apartment should not be $2,700.
Welcome back to another video, YouTube. It's good to see you. We got us a fire video today. We're going to be talking about this insane inflation that's going on, shrinkflation, how grocery stores and grocery prices are going up. Not price gouging, because, you know, we got to be real about this, but inflation and the real cost of living. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and hop right on into this astronomical amount of credit card debt. When I'm talking about Afterpay, Karma, all this stuff for people who are using just to survive, and also those who are just trying to thrive. So we're going to go ahead and get into that and talk about that, the craziness that we're seeing with that. And then last but not least, we're absolutely going to go ahead and hop into people living at home in their mid-20s to 25s to late 20s to 30s. Just normalizing it, because right now, yo, it's hard out here. So we're going to go ahead and cover all of that, and let's go ahead and hop right into it. First on the list, we're going to go ahead and get into these crazy grocery prices. What's going on out here? How are people affording to eat? Man, let's go.
Yo, this is what $70 gets you at Walmart. Yep, that's it. $70.
So I've been shopping at Aldi for 2 years now, to the point where I did not have awareness of how expensive things were at other stores. What are you talking about? Was $8.25 now $6.89? Like this is some amazing deal. What? The off-brand is $5? I genuinely feel like I need a slap on the wrist, because I just left Aldi and I paid $1.19 for a huge box of off-brand Fruit Loops. They don't have any bad dyes in them. They don't have any bad ingredients, and they taste amazing. I just looked at the Fruit Loops here, $6.89. I just did the math. That is a 479% price increase. Because I have the privilege of driving 30 minutes to my nearest Aldi, I get to pay 479% less on cereal alone. If you're not in the food desert, you better be grateful. Makes my stomach hurt.
We're really going to have to take a second to examine these grocery prices. My man talking about $70 in Walmart, that's what you get, not even a half a cart of groceries. And then we're talking about cereal that's $9, but they on discount is $7 for a box of cereal. Man, if y'all don't have an Aldi's or a Costco or something next to you, I feel so bad for you, because how are people affording these grocery prices? Now, before we go ahead and get into the comments of these videos, I actually want to go ahead and give a shout out to our top comment of the last video. Thank you for taking your time and commenting down below. Shout out to Talk Time with Yazzie. You're a real one. And these comments, I'm going to put it over here right now. It's on fire. So if you guys do have a chance, definitely leave your thoughts down there. And you do have a chance to go ahead and get included in the next video. So I appreciate your time. And she has an amazing show. If you guys do have the time, definitely go check out Talk Time with Yazzie, because it's worth it. Let's go ahead and get back to the comments of these videos on these TikToks. The top comment for the cereal video saying Aldi's has really made it hard to shop at regular stores. The prices are insane right now, definitely are insane, and it's hard to be out here eating if you ain't got your money right. So you definitely got to start shopping strategically. But I do want to go ahead and give a little teaser here. I do have a screenshot of what people are saying inflation prices are from 2019 to 2024. I'm gonna put that up here right now. Please let me know your thoughts, and if what you're feeling is true, leave those comments down below.
I just got back from the grocery store and I went there to get blueberries. There were two options, organic and non-organic. The organic blueberries were $8.99 for the box. The non-organic blueberries were on sale for $1.99. So like I can either buy the non-organic and have cancer later because it's all I can afford right now, or buy the organic and not pay my mortgage. So I'm just curious, like, how are people surviving in this economy? Like, seriously.
So I'm walking around Costco here and I'm noticing these prices. For example, these Madras lentils, $15.99. I bought those a year ago for $6.99. I keep getting told that we got, 6-7% inflation. You gotta be kidding me. Let's look at what else we got going on here. We literally bought this chicken broth, $5.69, 2 months ago. Dang, this is the flour we were buying for $5.99 last year.
I honestly need your thoughts down below. Is this really what's going on in these grocery stores? I was literally just talking about Costco. Maybe not so lucky to have a Costco membership. Why are these prices like this? My man said from last year that these jumps are insane, crazy. Y'all seeing these prices? He has picture proof. With these prices, there's going to be a point to where people literally just can't afford them. And when people can't afford to eat, we have a whole nother situation on our hands. So we're going to go ahead and hold that. While we're talking about eating and food and prices, I actually have a good video here talking about McDonald's, and I thought it was actually pretty interesting to look at the old McDonald's prices compared to the McDonald's prices right now. So let's go ahead and hop into that.
Hi, can I help you?
Big Mac, fillet of fish, large fry. Chicken McNugget.
Happy Meal.
Happy Meal.
Happy meal?
Do you want orange soda? Orange soda.
Okay, you want sauce for the nuggets?
Ketchup.
Ketchup? Okay.
And I'll have a hamburger, small fry, and a Diet Coke.
What size Diet Coke will that be? Anything for dessert? Okay, for here? That comes to $10.84, please. Oh, I already got it. I need a small orange and a small diet, please. I got the half meal again. Thanks, Jason. $10.84 out of $11.
I had to react to seeing back in 1990s what this McDonald's prices were for these items. For about $11, it was saying was the total price. When you're coming out to about $32. $32 in today's prices. And that's 2013, so I can imagine what it is today in 2024. You already know that's probably about 35, 40 bucks for a McDonald's meal that you're having. Man, fast food is no longer affordable at all. This is just insane. Now, these are just one tactic that people see over time with prices. Now, there's another tactic that be using with the shrinkflation, to where they'll try to hide the amount of product that they're actually giving you, less and less, but charging you the same amount. That's that shrinkflation. Let's go ahead and hop into that.
Major corporations are gaslighting us, trying to make us believe that what we are seeing is not real, that shrinkflation is not a real thing, or what some people call it, a stealth price rise. Shrinkflation is very real, and this is not the only company who has done it. By the way, their reasoning behind making the bottle look like this was not to change the prices. It was not to give you less. It was to make them more aerodynamic. Doritos used to be 9.75 ounces, 9.25 ounces now, same price. I think we all know cereal is doing it, and they've done it for a very long time. General Mills shrunk the family size boxes from 19.3 ounces to 18.1 ounces. That's like 10%. Cocoa Pebbles went from 20.5 to 19.5. Life cereal went from 24.8 to 22.3. Bounty changed the number of sheets that you get from 165 to 147. Just look. 52 fluid ounces used to be 59. And do you know, these look the same. Do you know why that is? It's because they hollow out a thing so that the plastic is coming up on the bottom like that. So that it looks the same, so that you can't tell. Pringles, look at the difference. Look at that chip. Look at that chip. They had to change the packaging because the chips got smaller. And you know how the chips fit right in the thing. Not only that, but they start about here. Hang on, I'll show you a picture. Look. Great Value toilet paper reduced the number of sheets from 168 down to 120 and also changed the sheet size. This one is my favorite. They just like stop putting stuff there and just create like a blank space. Also, yeah, it's not just gum, it's not just food products, it's not just your laundry detergent and your chips and snacky things. Less inside Oreos, the stuffing, they're actually putting less stuffing in. Look at this, look at what they do with the packaging. They put like a cookie shaped piece of plastic there so that they only have 2 there instead of 3 to give you less. This one's hard to see, so stay with me. This one up here says mega pack up there, right? And then down here, it's measuring in milliliters, 2490 milliliters. This one on this side doesn't say mega pack. It is not the larger, more included pack, and it is 3 liters. There is more in this package that is shorter. See? Shorter. This one is taller and skinnier, and they're acting as though it has more in it. And they changed the measurement so that people have to do math in the market. This is mostly because people just don't want to. There's too many other things going on, and if they can mentally exhaust us, well, we're already mentally exhausted by all of the inflation and other things that are going on. They win because we just have to get the laundry detergent in the end, don't we? Honestly, I could keep going. Like, there's so many. They'll do something new size, like new packaging, and it's actually a smaller 300 grams, 250 grams. I could do this all day. Also this. Oh, look at this. Bigger size, better value, right? Oh, 18 fluid ounces versus 15 fluid ounces. But this is a bigger size, better value. Here's a great example. This is one of my favorites where you can see over time. Wow. Very illustrative.
These are some of the craziest recent examples of shrinkflation. Kellogg's using deceptive packaging, making the new box bigger, but it contains less than the old packaging. This is the old one, this is the new one. This new one looks bigger, but it actually just contains the same amount of product, and it cost $1 more. This one's interesting because P&G has reduced the amount of fluid from their old bottle to their new bottle. The price has stayed the same, and the amount of laundry it can do has stayed the same. So they must have just, I don't know, taken water out of the detergent. Even worse, this Redditor has found 3 different packages of Tide they've recently purchased, and while the size is getting smaller from each consecutive one, the price stays exactly the same at $20. I will admit it's difficult to see at first, but look at these Campbell's cans of SpaghettiOs. Is there any difference? When you flip it around, you'll see that the calories are different. This new one is less, 20 less calories, but why? Okay, let's look at what's inside. Here we have the old package of SpaghettiOs, and here's the new package of SpaghettiOs, but like, where are the SpaghettiOs? There's a lot less. More water. Found this one on mouseprint.org. You can see that the size has decreased from 30 fluid ounces to 22.5 ounces. That's a 25% reduction in size, but the price has stayed the same at $2.49. This has to be my favorite thing when companies just decide they're going to replace product with plastic. It's just an empty space now, but you're paying the same.
I'd be starting a fight with Tropicana today, but here we are. What is this? I go to the grocery store, I think, oh, they changed the top. Maybe there's less plastic in it, that's great. But then I picked it up, and immediately I knew something was incorrect. Tropicana wasn't banking on my spicy autistic brain. No, I knew, immediately. I didn't even have to look at the label. 11 ounces, 12 ounces, same price. Tropicana, what are you doing? Same price, 12 ounces, 170 calories, 11 ounces, 160 calories. The math doesn't even make sense. This should only be 155 calories unless you've been lying about the calories this whole time. You also owe me 17 cents or 1 ounce of apple juice. How much money are you making by taking away an ounce? I needed that ounce. I don't drink enough as it is. I'm chronically constipated. I need all 12 ounces of apple juice. Don't charge me $1.99 for 12 ounces and also $1.99 for 11 ounces. That's not how things work. You thought you could pull this one over on us, but no, you didn't bank on Paige. You should have. You should have run this by me first. I would have told you it was a bad idea.
It's really sad the length that people will go through with these companies to try to deceive you, to try to make you feel like, oh, this is the same amount that I had from when I was first purchasing, but you're looking at the amount and the volume that they're giving you, and you can notice that it's less. They're trying their hardest for you not to feel it and keep paying those same prices. But everywhere people are pulling back and trying to give you less for the same price. So that's just the hidden tax. Instead of them increasing the prices, let's give you less product and we'll keep it the same price. Which one do you want? You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You want to have good prices or you want to have low product? And that's so sad that this is the economy that we're living in right now. I wouldn't have imagined like a couple years ago this is how we're going to be, but this is where we are now, and we got to make the most of it. And what comes with that, with this inflation, we got to talk about the cost of living as well, about how it is different for the different generations and where we're at right now. So let's go ahead and hop into that.
You got to cut the millennials and Gen Z some slack because this isn't ordinary. They are moving the goalposts so quickly on the middle class because of the housing. Even that slide you just brought up, someone making $77,000 cannot qualify for a $400,000 home. That's the first time that's ever happened in the past 50 years. So they're being forced to rent. It's eating up 50% of their income.
50+% say we're in a recession. 58% say the economy is getting worse. It's not. By all objective measures, it's getting better. People keep feeling worse. Why is that?
I think it depends on the age, because I think we're kind of living in two separate economies, if you will. Because if you're somebody who's over 60 years old, if you have a $400,000 home and you have just property taxes and homeowner insurance for $600 a month, that is significantly better than a millennial or Gen Zer spending $2,500 for rent or $3,600 for a mortgage. So I think people under 40 are really feeling the stress about the economy, saying it's not good because housing's up, college is up, daycare is through the roof. But I think people over 60 who sit back and go, my 401k is looking good, my house went up 40%, the economy's doing well, groceries are high, but we can deal. So I think it just depends on the age, because the millennials and Gen Zs are the ones really struggling.
In today's economy, do you think a couple that brings home $100,000 is enough to support a small family of like 3 to 4 people? I asked this because I made a post yesterday about how Americans are really struggling, and it was really sad and eye-opening to me to see the amount of people who said, I make 6 figures now, yet we're still struggling. And I don't mean, is it enough to buy like luxuries? I just mean, is $100,000 enough to live comfortably without having to live paycheck to paycheck? I remember like 12 years ago, my mom told me about this couple I knew who were making like a combined salary of $110,000. And at that point in my life, 20s, I'm thinking, what a dream, what a goal it was for me to be able to say one day that my husband and I were making like $110,000. And now here I am in 2023, and I'm like, it's not the dream life anymore. Like if someone would have told me my husband and I would be making what we're making and still having to cut back on necessities, I would have been like, you have to be kidding me. Like we didn't even go on a vacation this year because the last thing I'm going to do is put a vacation on a credit card, but we didn't have extra money to bring our kids on a vacation, and we both have good jobs. So if you think $100,000 is enough, I'm curious, what's your location? Do you not have children? Like why do you think it's enough? Because I'm telling you, from yesterday's post on here, the comments say different, and the comments say that a majority of Americans are really, really struggling, and I mean hardworking Americans. So
$100,000 right now as a combined couple that you're making for your household is not enough. Could you imagine for those people who are making less than $100,000 as a couple? How literally how are you guys doing? Well, actually, I think I have the answer to how. Credit cards. Literally how she was talking about, them credit cards. We're going to go ahead and hop into those credit cards. Before we get into that solution, though, let's go ahead and hop into these comments and see what people are talking about, because $100,000, wow, not enough, man. Top comment here, we have, if a household makes under $100,000, they're struggling. A household making under $100,000 is a lot more normal than people think. So, man, a lot of people are out here struggling. And then we have 100K is the new 50K. Oh my goodness, it's Bidenomics. Okay, this Bidenomics stuff it's wild. It's wild. All right, so now we got the inflation, grocery prices, shrinkflation, cost of living, how it's crazy out here. Now, how are people doing this? How are they surviving? Let's hop into this crazy credit card debt. I'm talking about insane. This is how people are surviving. Let's see.
Corey, how do you always look so bougie? How do you always look so nice when you're on a budget? Let me tell you my secret. Credit card debt, Afterpay, Klarna. Is it the most financially responsible? No, but that's okay because the debt will disappear someday. You can't convince me otherwise that credit card is not just like free cash. You're welcome.
So if you ever wondered why my savings account is basically empty and I have 5 figures of credit card debt, This is it right here. Ignore the noise. There's construction going on in my building, but this is absolutely disgusting. This is what 60 pairs of shoes look like. And shamefully, I think only like 5 of these pairs are under $300. Okay, let's say under 200. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Those are the only pairs that are under $200. Oh, and then my Birkenstocks back there too. Oh, and my Bass loafers right there. But everything else is over $200. Most of them are over $500. This is disgusting to me.
If you're in your 20s and you keep consistently seeing people and you like, oh my God, how are they doing all this? How are they affording all of this? Blah, blah, blah. And you're really confused and you're trying to figure it out, is really one of 2, maybe even 3 options. The first option is credit card debt. Maybe they swiping them cards. They swiping that card. They probably have $30,000 right now in credit card debt. But they're in Bora Bora. Absolutely.
Absolutely no surprise. People are literally living off of these credit cards to go ahead and just to pay for groceries. But now these people who are doing that just to try to survive, I understand. It's tough out here. But when you're literally going to Bora Bora for under a credit card with $30,000, you running up the debt. Man, this YOLO lifestyle of, I don't know, like it's going to end anyway, so I'm going to enjoy myself. I have enough credit. I'm going to keep running it up. So, okay, so the top comment on here, it says it's Klarna and Afterpay. Absolutely, Afterpay is going crazy on here. When you can just throw it on Afterpay, Klarna, I'll pay it later. And then no, because $30,000 in credit card debt is terrifying. Y'all, how are y'all doing this? Yeah, it is crazy when you think about this. Last comment here, my friend is $96,000 in credit card debt. I didn't even know that was possible. Yes, absolutely, it's possible. You can run up numbers. You can run up numbers real fast with this credit card stuff. Now, speaking of this Afterpay and Klarna and all these buy now, pay later stuff, you gotta be careful because this is a slippery slope. When you realize that, oh, no money, like for credit cards, no money's coming out of my account, so hey, I'm okay. I still got cash. I can keep spending. Or with Afterpay, I only gotta pay a little bit of money here, and I can still go and they'll take out the rest of my next paycheck. Oh yeah, we up. So that's the dangers of this. Let's go ahead and watch.
Can we talk about how dangerous Afterpay is? Don't remember when I first discovered it, but I realized it's on like Aritzia, it's on Sephora, can't remember what else. It's on a lot of stuff though, like a lot of websites will be like, or 4 interest-free payments of this amount with Afterpay. My little monkey brain is like, it's basically like it's free. I'm girl mathing it is what I'm doing, if we're being honest. I bought a Dyson Airwrap and I bought it with Afterpay because it's like $800, but it was 4 interest-free payments of just under $200. So I was like, it's basically $200, which means it's basically free. I need to get it. And I do love it for that reason, because you just, you pay what you can now, and then you go to work and you pay your credit card and you pay some more. Like, it works. It actually is great. I love it. But the amount of shit I have bought that I should not have bought because of Afterpay is just wild. Like, I'll make like an $800 Sephora order, but it's Afterpay, so it's not really $800. It's like $200 4 times. So really, I'm saving money is what I'm doing. Anyway, Afterpay, I love you. Kind of wish I'd never discovered you, but also I don't mean that. I love you so much.
This is a real conversation that I had with one of my friends when I was in university about her credit card, and I still think about this once a week. I have to pay off my credit card. It's like $700 this month. That sucks. What do you mean your credit card bill is $700? Like, I just bought all my textbooks and stuff, so I have to pay off my credit card. Like, it's $700. My credit card bill has never been over $10. What? Yeah, like you only have to pay the $10. What do you mean it's only $10? What do you mean you're only paying $10? Like, every month you get the bill and you only have to pay $10. It doesn't matter how much you put on. It's literally, you just have to pay the $10. How long have you had this credit card for? Since first year? We're in our 3rd year university. Do people not know that? People of TikTok, people of the internet, just know, like, please just pay in full. Pay in full.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm in $9,999 of credit card debt. Here's what I ate today. For the record, to clear up any confusion, I have a grocery budget and an alcohol budget. It's not one or the other. Anyway, this morning I made a smoothie with protein powder, dates, chia seeds, cashews, oat milk, raspberries. I'm still trying to not grocery shop, so I'm using what I have, and that was good. I got myself a Ralph's coffee, which was fine. I'm not really sure why there was a line at the door, but okay. I went home and found these old pita chips, so I put some sardines on them with these hot and sweet jalapenos from Trader Joe's that I'm obsessed with. This was delicious. And then I had this snack afterward that was really complicated, but I'll try to explain it. It's basically just peanut butter on a spoon. Here's an intermission to show you how my dive progress is going. I know everybody's like waiting with bated breath, and there I go.
It's really unfortunate because a lot really does come with the credit card, and if you're not aware of this, oh man, you can get in a world of hurt about your minimum payments that you need to make, but as well as paying in full every month. There is a complete difference. If somebody's coming back from underwriting, credit card underwriting, mortgage loans, small loans, all PPP, auto loan, everything, I've underwritten all of it. And so the difference in these nuances are so critical. You can see a bill that says it's only $10 and oh, okay, I'm good. And so I love this example because it's real. You got to make sure you're making off those full payments every month. You want to take care of your credit, and you want to make sure, if you can, if you have the ability. Again, I know everyone's tapped right now, but if you have the ability, don't just make the minimum payments. You're paying so much in interest, so much money in interest.
What's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore?
I don't know if people are ready to hear this, but Afterpay. If you can't afford to buy it now, you can't afford it. It's predatory. You know, it's really enticing when you want a $100 clothing item and you can't afford $100 outright, but you can afford to pay, you know, however many payments of $10 or $20. And oh, suddenly you're like, well, you know, I can get another shirt that I do Afterpay and then pay $10 or $20 a month. And then you're just getting into debt. You're racking up all these little like purchases that are turning into thousands of dollars. It's predatory. Don't use Afterpay.
Bro, please stay out of debt as much as you can, dude, because I am drowning. I keep getting myself in these situations to the point I can't get myself out of it. I can, but I have to work 2 or 3 times harder just to get myself back afloat. So, backstory, I was in school and I lived on my credit cards. And so my mom, she helped me by paying them off in like full. So I'm like, good, bam. So now, fast forward to now, bro, I have got myself in the same position and I don't even know how. Like, I don't even know how I came about spending this money. I don't know where it's going. I'm looking at my credit cards like, what did I even spend this on? So now, because I like to invest my money. I want to invest my money. I want to put my money somewhere else, but I don't even have the luxury to do that because I got to work 2 or 3 times harder just to pay my credit cards off, then put my money to the side to invest. So now I'm going backwards rather than continuing to going forward. So it's just so frustrating, bro. And I'm just sitting here like pulling my hair out, stressing over it. Bro, I didn't even have to go through this. It just creeped up on me out of no fucking where. And I just like don't know. Bro, do anybody else know how to manage their money? Because I'm over here drowning. Drowning. And I'm trying to stay, bro, get myself up. And it's so frustrating, bro. So learn from me. Please stay out of credit card debt. If you have any recommendations for me, bro, please let me know because yeah, boy, definitely is stressing over here.
It's really unfortunate because we can really find ourselves in so much credit card debt or in debt fast, and it adds up so quick. So if you're in this cycle of trying to pay it off, to use that money to maybe put in investments or save, just have an emergency fund, it's like, man, now you got to work 2-3 times harder just to pay off that card that you're using. So that's what I mean with the slippery slope with debt. You can get it racked up really fast looking at these grocery prices, looking at this cost of living, looking at things that you're just using the card for on everyday bills. It's like, man, I don't know how, but it is important for us to be manageable and for us to be aware of it. We got to start budgeting now, because if we don't budget now, imagine what it's going to be here in a couple years. Especially the same tendencies and track records that we're on. You don't want to find yourself on the other end and not having a credit card to rely on.
How do I, 27 female, tell my husband, 29 male, of 3 years that I've racked up $20,000 in credit card debt?
Just like that. Just like that.
Wait, let me read the whole thing.
Just tell him I've racked up $22,000 in credit card debt.
My husband and I have been together for 7 years, married for 3. We split all house finances. We own our home, but we have separate checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, etc. He manages his money very well. I do not. He never keeps a rotating balance on his credit card. I have maxed out my Discover card at 12.5K, but I have a 1.6K balance on an Amex. And I took out a personal loan of about 7.5K to cover previous debts.
See, me.
It's gotten to the point where I'm tired of hiding this from him, and I'm scared of my future. I have a decent job, and I've recently got another part-time job a few months ago to help pay down my debt. It just feels like I'm drowning. How do I tell him?
This one was definitely an interesting video that I had to get a reaction to, which I want to get y'all comments down below. What would you do if your significant other told you that they had $20,000 of credit card debt that they were hiding from you? I'm talking about your wife, your husband, or even your girlfriend, boyfriend, y'all. Your house commune, your household that you're using your funds with, and they tell you that they're in $20,000 in debt. How are you going to react? Let me know your thoughts down below. I definitely want to hear them. And let's go ahead and hop into the next video.
I saw this video of this girl balancing her her budget from her job, and I think like her pay, like her salary is like $75,000. In the video, she said that she her statement for her credit card was like $2,100, and at the end of her balancing out her whole like spreadsheet, she was in negative $200 for the next 2 weeks. Let me just say this. I love that she made that video and that she woke that up, because a lot of people be wondering how people be affording all these designer things, yada, yada, yada. A lot of them are just simply swiping that fucking credit card. A lot of people are literally just living in fucking debt. Big debts. Like, when she said her ending balance was $2,000, I think her limit said like $9,000. That's not even the smallest credit card debt I've seen on people that I personally fucking know. Like, so many people are not only living paycheck to paycheck, baby, they are living credit card statement to credit card statement. And it's literally just a cycle, because after they pay off that statement and they're at like negative $200 for the week, guess what they then have to turn around and do? You betcha. They have to use that fucking credit card. Don't let them have multiple credit cards, baby. We're talking about thousands and thousands of debt. And you know, the other piece of it is that there probably are some scammers out here, or some people who really do have making over 100,000 our tech girls who we love, and you know, the doctors and the nurses, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of people are just consumed by credit card debt, and it's just a cycle of credit card debt and bad spending habits. Now, I don't know what it looks like if it's a scammer, but I will say if they can't have a Cash App account, or they're using Cash App as their bank account, it's probably a scam.
Okay, I wanted to answer this question about how I got into $15,000 worth of credit card debt, because I've been getting it a lot. I feel like some people are going to be like, this is basic knowledge, but to me, it wasn't basic knowledge, which is why I wish someone drilled this into my brain and I actually listened. The first is I had zero financial literacy at all. My family never talked about money. I come from a super poor single mom family, and money just wasn't ever talked about because we had none of it. And I never took any classes in high school that taught you about finances. I don't even know if there were any. The next is that I always considered my available credit as money that I could spend or money that I had. I distinctly remember buying like a laptop and furniture because I was like, oh, I don't have the money on my debit card, but I have it on my credit card so I can spend it. Which, looking back, is ridiculous, but back then it felt like free money. I always only paid the minimum payments on my credit cards. Whether it was like $100 or $25, I was like, okay, as long as I do that, I'm fine. When it really clicked for me was when my financial advisor told me that if I continued paying $150 on each card, it would take me 9 years and $17,000 worth of pure interest to pay it off. It would cost me $17,000. But if I increased my payments to $350 and $450, it would take me 1 year and it would only cost me $3,000 in interest, which is so much of a difference. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to get my shit together. Another is that I always increased my credit card limits when I was offered it, which is basically just a big trick because they know you're gonna fuck up. So I'd increase the limit, spend all the way up until that new limit, and then I just maxed out more money. And the last one is I just swiped carelessly. I never cared what I spent it on. I just always spent money on it because to me it was just money that I had, even though it was not money I had. I can't believe I'm even admitting this stuff because looking back, it feels so dumb. Even to my financial advisor, I was so embarrassed to tell him this. And I'm absolutely certain that some of the reactions I'm gonna get are not gonna be kind, but I think there needs to be way more financial transparency around people who don't know shit about money like me. I'm 25 years old. I work a corporate job and I'm working on paying down my debt. I've got the 15,000 down to 11,000 and I'm working really hard on getting it down to 0. So if any of this aligns with you or you feel like you need to get your shit together in any way, I'm documenting my whole journey, super vulnerable, so be sure to follow along.
I don't think that it's worth living to just pay a credit card. I should be able to do a little stuff here and there.
Do you think the only reason you're living is to pay off the credit card? I want you to attack it now, so by the time you're 35, you never have to pay a credit card again. So you f***ing around for a month because, ooh, it's my birthday month. Woo! You're extending this situation for years and years to come. You're preventing yourself from getting out of it. You're preventing yourself from ever having enough saved up for retirement so that you can survive, so you're not working in your 80s in order to afford rent because you never saved up enough money to put a down payment on a house. And who knows what Social Security is going to be like when we retire. We can't rely on that. People can barely rely on it now.
Honestly, you guys just got to be careful out here. Keep your head on a swivel when it comes to this debt stuff and what's going on in this economy, and that you're not falling victim and you're not falling into these traps, because there's a lot of predatory practices when it comes to credit, and that you definitely do want to be aware of. We have to be honest with ourselves. What are we left with after having insane grocery bills, having insane shrinkflation, just insane costs of living, and then when you're drowning in credit card debt? What do you do? Well, that's where you go. Live with your parents in your 20s, late 20s until you die. That's where you go. Because right now, we have to go ahead and get our finances in order. So just from the start of this video, I don't want to shame anybody for living at home, doing what you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of your financial future and building that foundation. As long as you're taking care and you're helping with your family and you're doing what you got to do, yo, live at home. Stop stressing over what people think. Let's go ahead and hop into it. We're going to hop into it.
Did you live with your parents past 22?
I'm 20 right now. I'm still living with my parents.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, right? Come here. At this point, there is no longer an age limit to staying with parents. Does that make sense? Right? I know before it was like, oh, once we turn like 20 or so, try to move out of your parents' house. The way that life is going, that is quite literally almost impossible at this point. People who claim they don't live with their parents anymore, come here. They probably have roommates somewhere else, right? And living with your parents or living with roommates, both are pretty uncomfortable. The only difference is, at least if you live with your parents, somebody's going to say that they love you at the end of the night. Well, for most of us. But you know what I'm saying, right? At this point, living by yourself is almost impossible. Anybody who does live by themselves, they either are working so much that they can't even enjoy living by themselves, or somebody is helping them pay those bills, because at this point, it's impossible.
If you live at home with your parents and you feel ashamed, don't. When I graduated college, I'm 24 now. I really wanted to move out. I was like, I want to move to Boston. I want to get my own apartment. The math wasn't mathing on how much I was making on my salary. My first job, it was like $45K after taxes. And I needed to be humbled a little bit. Who's moving out where and when? You're not. So I lived at home with my parents, and most of my friends did too. But then they all started to go back to school or get jobs, and they live in the city now, and either their parents pay their rent or they like just work crazy hours to afford rent. I've learned since posting TikToks stating I'm a 24-year-old living at home with my parents that so many other people also live at home with their parents. Even if you move out of your house and you have to move back in with your parents because it's just a budget thing, it makes sense to you, right? It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. That is okay. You are not taking a step back. My number one thing is it only ever has to make sense to you, so never be ashamed.
So I'm 27 and I live at home with my parents. And no, it's not because I'm not able to afford to move out or because I'm codependent, but I just don't agree with the culture and pressure to move out once you reach a certain point in your life. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have parents that are kind of a pain to live with, it totally makes sense to move out. But luckily for me, I have the privilege to have pretty chill parents who are very open-minded and quite fun to live with. By no means are my parents perfect, and I've gotten into many heated arguments with them, but at the end of the day, I feel so much happier being able to see them every day and to get through those conflicts with them. And yeah, to be frank, I live rent-free. I do contribute to the household and pay certain bills, but for the most part, I'm able to save that rent money and use it to invest in my own finances. I'm definitely a firm believer that you shouldn't have to do what everyone else is doing just because everyone else is doing it. You know what works best for you, and just disregard what stigma tells you. I know myself, and I know I will be thankful for the time I spent with my parents. And to me, that's the type of luxury that is irreplaceable.
Now, one thing I do like about this younger generation is that they're going to stand on it. They don't care about, for the most part, what they have to do. They're going to save some money. They're going to save some money, and they're not going to live at home. They don't care what people are saying online or whatever it is. I live at home because you're probably living at home. And if you're not living at home, you're living with a roommate, which you're pretty much living at home, or you're stressing out trying to just afford your bills. So I definitely do like that this generation knows the truth. Like, hey, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm trying to stack my bread up. I'm trying to get right. And then also with I'm super jealous of just the foreigners, how they're raised with a community aspect and not much of this individualism as in America, where everything is just, I gotta do it myself, When you come together as a family and build your resources together, oh man, game-changing stuff. That's why you see when people coming from other countries, they tend to be all living together in a home and saving up their bread until they can buy a house and continue to advance. But today in this society in America, it's all individual. I got to move out when I'm 18. I got to do this all by myself. I got to prove a point. Man, slow down.
Living with your parents in your 20s is wild and nobody talks about it. First off, you're going to lose the food battle. It's a lose-lose. You go buy groceries for yourself, you get lectured, hey, we have food at home. Why you wasting money like that? Save your money. But then you ask, hey, we doing anything for dinner? And you're a grown-up. Figure it out yourself. It's a lose-lose. The other thing they don't tell you is that parents get really bored and they start doing these little side quests. You know, I just heard a bunch of clanging and stuff downstairs today, and the floor is gone. And I've heard a lot of people complain about the parents who are always like, where you going tonight? Who you seeing? It pales in comparison to the judgment of just staying in for a night. Oh, you're not doing anything tonight? You're staying in? Yeah, I am. What's it to you? Little me time, you know? And it's a weird combination of obvious gratitude, thankful to have a roof over my head for a little while longer, but also, like, chill.
I don't think there's anything wrong with adults living with their parents.
I don't think people understand. Right now, the average amount of money you have to make in order to live by yourself is $60,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid $30 an hour. Come here. And that is just to cover rent. That's not including furniture. That's not including other bills. That's not including car issues, right? If you were to put all that together, you'd have to make about $75,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid over $35 or $40 an hour. So if you know somebody that is making you feel bad because you live at home with their parents, unless they are making $40 an hour at their job, they're definitely lying to you about their living situation. They either live in a closet or they have 4 roommates. There's nothing wrong with staying with your parents right now, because at this moment in time, the new generation, they can't save any money. The only thing going up is the cost of things, not the actual payment towards their lives.
I absolutely love his videos because he be giving it straight raw and just telling you the truth. And it's like, come here, let me talk to you real quick. Little youngin, let me talk to you real quick. And so don't let nobody shame you. Let's go ahead and hop into these comments, man. All right, so it looks like for the top comment here, we have, as someone who is still living with their parents and trying to move out, it's definitely impossible. We have, I'm 30 and I'm still living at home with my mom. Neither of us can afford to live on our own, so it is what it is. I mean, honestly, and that's where the reality is. You could be helping each other out. It's already hard to live out here, so combining incomes and building resources and pulling resources together is going to help extremely for both parties, everyone involved. Now, of course, making these decisions aren't easy, so having to humble yourself and move back in with your parents, it can be tough out here.
Living at home is like literally the most frustrating thing in the world, and like I feel so ungrateful for like the way that I'm feeling, because I know that I'm like lucky that at least I like have a home to go to after I like left my job. Like I'm really lucky, but at the same time like it just contributes to like so much of like a loss in identity and like a loss in independence. Like someone is home all the time and I like don't have any privacy and I like don't have like any like spaces to myself. Coming back to like your childhood bedroom that like is just so not the person you are anymore, and like having all this like random shit and like it's not your space and it doesn't feel like your space anymore. And like side note, like my mom just decided to start renovating like half our house, so now like we're all on one side of the house and like in like another tiny room that's like not mine, and my stuff is everywhere. Not to mention like I don't see my fucking friends anymore. Like I genuinely can't just go like grab a coffee with someone after work or like meet them for lunch. Like I'm just in a different town, like miles and miles away. And don't even get me started on like the fact that you probably can't even date anyone because your parents are like all up in your business and like you've nowhere to like, no space to bring them into. I feel so stupid for complaining about all of this because like people literally like are homeless and dying, and like I'm complaining about being in my parents' house. So, champagne problems.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations, and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on. I just need one video to blow up and it could be life-changing for me.
Now, this video isn't exactly living back at home, but it just goes to show the actual bills and what it does to total up when you are living by yourself and you're trying to have that independence. I mean, sometimes you're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to sacrifice. And you have to sacrifice if you're looking to go ahead and make that huge jump forward. Like, it's going to take time. And in a matter of in a couple of years, you can be in a totally different situation. So keep your head down and keep grinding. So that's why I thought it was important to add that video in there.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with living at home in your 20s. And I mean 20s. Doesn't matter if it's early 20s, mid 20s, even late 20s. I know a lot of people face societal pressure of like, oh, you shouldn't be at home. You need to grow up. You need to move out. And this is coming from someone who lives alone now, but did live with my parents before I moved to the city that I live right now. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. Like, I've seen both perspectives of living at home and also living on your own, and, you know, the benefits to doing both. Now, here's the caveat, okay? If you are going to stay at home and live at home, you need to do so with a purpose. You can't just be staying at home and living with mommy and daddy because they cook your meals and you don't have to spend any money and it's just easy to live there because you're never going to grow up like that. In fact, I've seen this happen to plenty of people who just never grow up. They never mature because their parents are still taking care of them. They don't have any responsibilities, and the real world has not given them a real world kick in the ass yet. But if you're staying at home with a purpose, the purpose to save money, to do something, hey, maybe you stay at home because your goal is to travel as much as you can. It doesn't make sense to stay at a place. Or maybe your goal is to buy a house, like a lot of people's goal is. I think living at home is the cheat code to getting ahead. I think if you were fortunate enough to live at home in your 20s and your parents will still have you at home in your 20s, this is actually a cheat code to getting ahead in 2023. Like, with the cost of living being what it is, with rent, groceries, all these things, you're never going to get ahead, you know, renting a condo or renting an apartment in a big city by yourself. If you ever feel bad for staying at home or people make fun of you for staying at home, just remember what your purpose is of doing it. If you have a purpose and a goal for staying at home, living at home, and you're able to execute that, I promise you, when you come out the other end, you know, it might be a little bit of suffrage. It's not always the easiest living with your parents, especially in your 20s. But when you come out the other end and you've achieved this goal that you set yourself to, I promise you will be 2 times, 3 times better off than the people who used to make fun of you for staying at home, because they're going to be stuck in the same situation, especially financially, with how expensive things are. So yeah, if you ever feel bad about living at home or thinking about moving back home, any of those things, from someone who lives on their own but has also lived at home in their mid-20s, just do it. Move back home if you have the opportunity and you're hemming and hawing or it's getting too expensive. It might be the best thing you ever do for yourself. So.
After college, something that is frowned upon. For context, I'm from the Bay Area and I currently live here, where the average price for a 1-bedroom is $3,000. And as someone who's from here, it just doesn't make sense to me to pay $3,000 every month to someone else. I know this is a privilege and not everyone can live in their family home, but calling this me taking advantage of my parents is a little bit of an overstatement. So by letting me stay here, my parents are helping me to help save more money so I can put it towards property, investments, and even if I do move out in the future, I'll be in a much better place. And I'm not taking anything for granted. I am very grateful to be able to be in this situation. I do help out in the house, like buying groceries, chores, cleaning.
I definitely have to react to this video because anybody living in San Francisco and living in New York by yourself, you got to be a millionaire. Like, I don't even know, just for a little shack over there. And she said $3,000 for rent in the Bay. $3,000. You better live at home until you're a millionaire. I don't understand. Like, there's no shame in that. I understand that for sure.
Let's talk about living at home in your late 20s. First of all, the economy sucks and we are in a cost of living crisis, so all judgment needs to exit stage left immediately. But I'm 29 and I live at home with my parents. I've had my own place. I live with friends. I've lived with my partner. But I'm at home because it truly is the best decision for me at this stage in my life. And while I would love my own place, and I'm planning on doing that very soon, the reality is that living at home is smart, y'all. Living at home is comforting. Living at home for me right now is a blessing. And I'll continue to do that as long as it serves me. And when you really think about it, we are still toddler adults. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing out here. And times are different. The market is different. Groceries are different. But somehow salaries are still the same they were 20 years ago. Make it make sense. So I'm taking things one day at a time. And when those things change, so will my address. But for now, here we are.
Why is it like not normalized that we live with our parents in our 20s? I'm pretty sure I'd tell my parents like I'm riding and dying with them. Like they will leave before I will leave the house. Like, how do you want me to get a house? I'm just a girl. Like, why is it so frowned upon? It's so much more fun. Like, I get to hang out with my parents, I get to hang out with my brothers, so much more fun living at home. Like, I get the whole wanting to be by yourself kind of thing, but that's expensive. Like, you gotta be rich for that.
Honestly, it is truly humbling to have to go move back home with your parents. But if this is the move that's going to be best for you and your financial future, and it's going to be best in what you have to do as your only option, don't let anyone shame you for that. Because it's tough out here, man. It is absolutely tough, as we just witnessed and went over with these grocery prices and with this credit card debt and where the economy is right now. Don't allow anyone to shame you. Now, there's a difference if you are, you can go extreme with it. I don't even need to give the examples. We know those people who may be freeloading is crazy. But if you're having to do this because this is where you are in your life and you're young or you're in your 20s, 20s is still young. Late 20s is still young. Man, take your time. Build your future. Don't get ashamed. Man, you may not be able to date really, but hey, at least you get your bread right. Your bread is not even right to be dating in the first place. So dating shouldn't even be an issue, because why are you trying to date when your money's not right? Save your money. That's why you're living at home. Save the money. But anyway, thank you, YouTube, for hanging with me. If you guys do have any words, thoughts, or anything, please leave them down in the comment below. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out the next section of this video, click here. If you want to watch the full thing, also click here. I appreciate you guys. Take care, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.